everyone, welcome to another Linfield Coaches CatChat. Joe Stewart here with head Linfield football coach Joseph Smith. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
And this last week, the Wildcats, of course, with the big win over George Fox, clinching consecutive winning season number 67. And I want to start there today. Obviously, you've put over 30 years into this program as a player and assistant coach and head coach. There's very few people who have seen more Linfield or been a part of more of these winning seasons than you have. But for each group of guys that comes through this program, just what does it mean every year when you get to see them get to be a part of history each year?
Well, it's pretty special, as you mentioned. It really takes me back sometimes when I think about just what it really is, and to win 80% of your games over 6 decades is quite mind-boggling. I'm really proud of the guys, and just to think back of all the sacrifice those guys have had to make, and how much work it's taken, and then for young guys to get to be a part of that is pretty special. So I very much so look at our young guys and just think, this is really neat that you get to be a part of this, because it's pretty special.
And but it was. Hold on, I'm going to take that again real quick. I'll fix that in post. But even with the win, it was a little bit of a costly game on Saturday as you lost 2 starters. One on defense, Colby Calicoa, the safety, who's having a fantastic season this year, and Bailey Lee on the offensive line. There's literally nobody on that line that's seen more big-time snaps than he has. Just how have you been able to talk to those guys much lately since game day, and how are they doing, and just kind of what are the ripple effects of what those 2 major injuries are going to be?
It's definitely the worst part of football, I think, is the likelihood of injury. It is quite high. It's the worst part of the sport, in my opinion. Not that you can do anything about it, I guess. I'm just saying that's the downside of it, and because of that, I think you gotta take every game and every snap as it's so precious, because you just really don't know when your last snap is, and to have those 2 guys go down is hard, because they were playing so well, and both on their side of the ball, and both leaders too, and it's not easy to replace. You're not going to replace it. Every kid's different, and every role's different on a team. It just sort of gets absorbed, I guess, and other guys got to step up a little bit. Other guys got to fill the void, of course, and it's someone else's turn to jump in and try to play and do the best they can do, and then other guys to rally around them and fill that void. And of course, Colby and Bailey will be out, with the team every day, and they'll move more into a advisory role and more of a coaching role, and I guess that's the neat thing about this program is you're never done being a part of it. It's just maybe the roles change.
Sure. Well, talking about the offense, that first half against George Fox was fantastic, nearly flawless, really, but then slowed a bit coming out in the second half. Wasn't able to get the same stuff going. You guys do end up picking up 2 field goals, but no touchdowns coming in that second half. Was there anything different that you saw from the start of that second half that slowed things up compared to the first? Obviously, it's hard to stay locked in when you're up 35-0 going into the locker room, but what did you see there?
Well, I think anytime you have an emotional outpouring, in terms of a very emotional start to a game, and of course, that's what you saw. The guys were pretty fired up. I'm not sure we really have been, in terms of this season, and we've always wanted to be a pretty even-keeled team that doesn't rely on strong emotional swings, and some teams feed on that. You watch teams and they're up and down, and when things are going good, they're really good, and when things are going poorly, they're going poorly. And we don't really want to have to rely on that. But certainly the guys were really fired up and locked in, and I think that was really evident in the first half. They played great, and I don't know that you can sustain that. In all fairness, I'm just not sure that you can, like in basketball, keep being on and hitting your threes all game long. Eventually you're going to, cool off, I guess. But obviously we just weren't emotionally ready to go in the second half, and you saw those kind of unforced errors that we had that are disappointing. But I would take that more to just sort of an emotional letdown than anything else. I'm not too worried about it. The game was over when it was 21-0, in all fairness. And with the way our defense is playing, they're not going to give up a lot of points typically, and certainly not against Fox that day.
Sure. Blake Eaton, I thought, arguably had his best game maybe since he became the starting quarterback. We saw almost over 300 yards out of him, a few touchdowns, completed about 85% of his passes, which is starting to become almost a regular thing with him. But what have you liked out of him here through the first half, and where do you hope to see him continue to grow here in the second half of his second season as a starting quarterback?
Well, I just really like, Blake's getting more comfortable, and I think it's his pocket awareness and his presence, and when things haven't gone great this year, sometimes those have been some of the issues. We just haven't had a clean pocket, and maybe his comfort level in there has forced us to maybe get off a read soon and maybe miss some things that were there, if that makes sense. And so I think that last game, he's just getting much more confident going through his reads and knowing where he wants to go, and just game slowing down. And I think that happens the more you play. You get to where things aren't as frenetic. Things are a little bit more smooth, and you're more comfortable. So I think that's what you're seeing. And Coach Elliott called a great game. I mean, the high accuracy rates is a function of obviously what's being called and the type of game you're trying to call, etc. And he's doing a great job doing that. I think, in terms of where can you improve, obviously we can always get better. Even within the game, there was a few throws I know he'd like to have back that were not where he wanted them to be, etc. But we'll get that, and we're kind of working on trying to bring the deeper ball. Probably is maybe the only area that we need to get a little bit better on. But I'm very pleased. He's doing a great job, and it starts up front, of course. Everybody looks good with a clean pocket, and with a bad pocket, nobody looks good. So it really does start there.
Well, the Linfield defense gave the George Fox offense definitely some problems in that area, not just getting to the quarterback, but completely eliminating the George Fox run game. Only 3 positive yards netted on the ground for George Fox. Nick Severson, Alex Frazier-Dow both finished top 3 on the team in tackles for the game. What do you like out of the defensive front specifically?
Well, just as you said, you make them one-dimensional. That's normally a terrible scenario. Not always. If your offense is built maybe differently, but George Fox is a run team, and if they can't run the ball, then you punt. So that's sort of what happened to them, is they just couldn't get the run game going. They fell behind the chains and just aren't made to function like that. And our defensive line, was winning their one-on-one blocks, and if you can defeat one-on-one blocks and get separation and get off those blocks and get to the ball carrier, then good things happen. And that's what those guys were doing with regularity. Severson and Frazier are very formidable. They really are. Very, very powerful interior tackles. And I think our linebacking core is really starting to gel. We've got some guys in different spots. And so that was a little bit of a change early on for us. I think Rybar is really settling into the middle, and BG's really starting to come on, playing that outside backer. And so I think as Helani's come in and played great, and our defensive ends, we lost a lot last year. There's a lot of really good players that graduated that we've had to fill that production from, and I just feel like those guys are getting it done. And the better that our D-line plays, and the more improvement that we can make, between now and the end of the season, that's probably the biggest area of improvement I think we have to make, and they'll even be better. So that's encouraging.
So looking ahead to Puget Sound this weekend, it seems like a pretty improved team compared to what we saw last year. We know they have a good passing game, but starting this weekend in Tacoma and then just going forward as we are now in the second half of the year, where are you hoping to see just things continue to improve as the team starts to gear up for the postseason a little bit?
Well, I think first is our kicking game. We want to keep working on that. Obviously, we don't want to give up touchdowns on kick returns or kickoff coverage. So, that's been a concerted focus this week, and Coach Fennell's done a great job in the kicking game. I thought the punt return was outstanding this last week and led for a lot of positive field position, and so I look for that to continue. As far as UPS goes, it's a little interesting with their kicking game itself. They've just had some injuries, so I'm not really sure what to expect there. I guess we got to expect the unexpected, adjust to that. I think with UPS, you got to factor in the grass. It's just different. We have kids on our program that have never practiced on grass, and that's shocking, right? In today's age. So that's different, and adjusting to that, and of course their offense is a little bit unique with just their short passing game, option routes. they can frustrate you with that and prolong some of their drives. And defensively, they're a little bit novel too with what they do. It's an interesting defense, so they can really pack the box and force you to take long shots and make it be feast or famine, or they can stay back and let you run it. So we'll kind of have to see what they do and try to take advantage of what they're doing. And bottom line is we got to play well and use this game to get better, and I look for us to do that.
Sure to be a good one up in Tacoma, and we sure hope all of you Wildcat fans in the Seattle-Tacoma area come out to support Linfield this Saturday at Puget Sound. 1 o'clock kickoff between the Wildcats and the Loggers. We'll, of course, have live audio coverage for you on the Linfield Sports Network starting at 12:30. Coach, good luck the rest of the week. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.